State Senator Becca Rausch has introduced legislation to implement comprehensive voting by mail for all Massachusetts statewide elections this year. The September 1st state primary and the state general election and presidential election on November 3rd. I spoke to Senator Rausch on Thursday about the bill she filed with Representative Adrian Madaro, a Democrat from Boston. Senator Rausch, you filed a bill this week that would certainly impact the way people vote in September and November. Tell us about it.
Thanks for the question, Peter. This is a really important bill. It's the 2020 Vote by Mail Act. I'm really proud of this work because free, open, and accessible elections are a bedrock and a pillar of our democracy. And we need people to be able to vote. And we also need people to be able to stay safe. And I think as we continue to see this pandemic develop, and we see it even today, just in the news, a sign from Governor Baker that the stay-at-home advisories and closures and essential services orders will be extended. We need to make sure that our elections can go forward. It's really important to our democracy as we know it. So the bill would implement a comprehensive vote by mail system for both the primary in September and the general in November. Every registered voter would get a mail-in ballot sent to the address on file with the Central Registry of Voters for the general election, and every registered voter who is affiliated with a party would get their party's primary ballot. All of that would happen automatically. For all of our independent voters, which is the difference between our state and many other states. Many other states, if you want to vote in a party primary, you have to be enrolled in that party. But in our state, we give unenrolled voters the opportunity to vote in any primary they want, which is great. So in order to know what those voters would like to do, which ballot they'd like to receive, they submit a request. They can do that online or by mail for a particular party's primary ballot and get those as well. The ballots will come to you via the mail. And you fill it out. You can fill it out at home. You can send it back. You sign an affidavit on the back of the envelope. The returned envelope will be postage prepaid, and you mail it back. And that's the grand scheme of the bill. It would apply only to 2020 elections.
November 3rd is also the presidential election. I know President Trump has talked about fraud if we went mail-in ballots. How would you answer that if questioned by the president?
Well, I doubt the president is going to call me and ask about this, but if
he might be watching.
You never know. Anything's possible. If he were, I would say we actually have a vote by mail system that already works in Massachusetts, right? We have plenty of people vote by absentee ballot, and that has worked for quite a while, and so I'm not particularly concerned.
What else is happening up on Beacon Hill or from your house communicating with Beacon Hill?
Right, my remote office and all the remote offices of all of my staff, also known as our apartments and houses. Well, the evictions and mortgage foreclosure moratorium bill has been passed by both chambers and laid before the governor for his signature. The MCAS have all been canceled and waived for the year, so that's huge. Both of those things are huge, excuse me, for both bills in and of themselves. We had 2 virtual hearings this week, one held by the Joint Committee on Children and Families and Persons with Disabilities. That hearing was specifically regarding deep poverty, people in deep poverty, and shoring up their financial resources in a period where they're being hit harder than ever. And then today, actually, we had, the day that we're recording, we had another one with the Joint Committee on Elder Affairs. I serve as the vice chair of that committee, specifically with regard to a bill pertaining to caring for our seniors, especially in senior living facilities. This is, as we're seeing the rates come out daily, these are hotspots. It's not surprising. We have a lot of people in relatively close quarters, so we really need to make sure that both the residents of those facilities and the staff that are taking care of those folks are safe and protected. So it's exciting to see us adapt. And then, of course, there's the bill that I believe did advance out of the Senate today with regard to signatures for getting on the ballot.
I hate to keep asking you this question every week when we get together like this, but municipalities throughout the Commonwealth are worried about this. I read in one of the newspapers, I read multiple newspapers, that the sales tax revenue is down, I want to say by a couple billion. I might be wrong on that. What impact is that going to have when cities and towns are looking for their money from the state?
Yeah. The other thing that did happen this week, which I neglected to mention, so I appreciate this question, is the Economic Summit and roundtable that was hosted by both the House and Senate chairs of their respective Ways and Means committees, as well as the Secretary of Administration and Finance, the Treasurer, and fiscal experts from across, various different folks throughout the Commonwealth, but experts in the Commonwealth all testified. It's available online if anyone wants to pull it up and watch it on the state legislature's website. And the answer is, we're people still don't know. The experts in the field don't quite know exactly what things are going to look like. I think the predictions are, less than $1 million of a shortfall in the current fiscal year, or no, sorry, I would have to check for the exact figures, but we're looking at significant shortfalls, and that's something that I think the folks, my colleagues up on the Hill are definitely trying to figure out. Sorry, just called up while we're talking the figures. I think they anticipated between a $500 and $700 million shortfall for this fiscal year, and we're talking in the billions for next fiscal year. It's a hit. It's a hard hit. We've now got some estimates to work with, so we'll have to see what comes out of that. Hopefully, we will figure this out, right? We will figure this out. I am confident that we will figure this out.
Fingers crossed.
All various appendages crossed that this will get figured out. But we do have to figure it out, and there will be cuts and maybe some new forms of revenue. Traditional forms of revenue obviously are not working right now, right? People aren't going to hotels and restaurants and stores the way we used to. And frankly, even once we get to the other side of this pandemic, on the backside of the bell curve, and people sort of talk about this as a V, right? We're in the downswing now, and eventually we'll hit bottom, and then it will, come back up, or maybe a U if it's a slower recovery, or a W, right? If we have another resurgence of the virus, whenever things start coming back upward, and they will, we don't know what that's going to look like, right? I think it's unrealistic to think that normal as we thought of it before will be normal again. So we have a lot of work to do, for sure, to figure out how to jumpstart the economy.
What else would you like to leave viewers with this week?
I'm really happy the sun is finally shining. I hope everybody's okay after that tremendous, wind and rainstorm that we had on Monday. We've had a couple of holidays now for people in a couple of different religions, so I hope everyone had a happy and healthy one. Please keep calling and emailing, especially we're seeing sort of disparate things happen on the ground that may or may not align with what we anticipate happening with regard to, for example, stimulus payments and small business loans and other things. So please keep telling me and my team. People have been doing this in all sorts of ways: Facebook, Twitter, email, phone calls. Let us know so that we can keep digging in for everybody and get to the bottom of any issues that we see arise. You can reach us at Becca Rausch MA on Facebook and Twitter. The website is also beccarauschma.com. You can email me at becca.rausch@masenate.gov, and the phone number, as with all weeks, still 617-722-1555. I'll add also that we're looking. I'm on a subgroup in the Senate that's looking specifically at our first responders and public safety folks, and making sure that we're doing everything we can to support the people on the front lines who are showing up when 911 calls come in, showing up when you got a fire, showing up when you got an issue. We have to do everything we can to protect everybody.
Well, Senator, as always, thank you so much. Have a wonderful week. We'll chat again next week.
I look forward to it, Peter. Thank you so much. Be well.